Okay, so we've got our basics set up here. Now we have to create our front end. As I said, we're going to use React, and I'm going to use create React app to create the front end. So npx create React app, and I'll just call this front end. Now, we could use TypeScript, but I'm not going to in this video. And I will pause this while it runs. Okay, so it has run. It took about a minute. So now if we go into the front end, we will see that we have React installed. I want to make sure, first of all, because I have my own Git folder in the parent directory, I want to get rid of the one that React gives us. Okay, that will prevent any conflicts here. Now, I also still want to make sure that the git ignore is okay, and it is. It's holding on to the node modules here. Now, this VS Code is saying that there are 5,000 files. This is not true. So I'm going to refresh it with this little refresh here. We can see only 18 now. I don't want VS Code to be wrong or mismatched or whatever, and hopefully potentially run out of memory. So we got rid of the Git file or folder rather. Let's make sure everything is okay. So we're going to use the tests to find out. Yeah, using test, of course. Run all tests, and it appears to be okay. So what I'm going to do now is actually clean out all the React boilerplate code and do my own tests. So the very first thing I'm actually going to do here is, using the existing tests, I want to migrate the application into a components folder. So I'm going to run the tests again and keep them running. And actually, I'm going to move this off to the side. I find it easier to work this way. So first thing I want to do, I'm going to create a components folder under source. And I'm going to move all of the app stuff into it. Okay. Now, of course, all my tests are broken, and I happened to have clicked on this CSS file. I'm going to clean this up while we're here. I don't need any of this in here. And we can just get rid of everything, really. In the JS file, we're not going to use the logo. I'm going to well, actually, I guess before I get rid of that, I'll make all my tests pass and then we'll clean it up. So the logo goes here. In the index, the apps import now has to be imported from ./components/app/app, which is kind of ugly, but okay. And I'm going to get rid of these report vitals things. So our tests are passing again now. I'm going to start deleting things that we don't need. We don't need this one. We don't need the logo. I'm pretty sure the way this test is written, it doesn't care about the logo. So I'm going to get rid of the logo, which will probably cause this test to fail. No, it didn't respond to it. So I can come in here, grab this out, get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of all this, which is definitely going to cause this test to fail. Okay, now we're going to update the test so that it reflects more accurately what we want. And instead of testing that it renders a link like this, initially I'm just going to make sure that it actually exists. And I want to make sure that I can import it directly out of components. Oops. So from here, this is going to be a named export because we don't have a choice really. And it's going to come from the next level up, because here we're in components. And we need to go into, as opposed to getting it straight from app. So here I'm going to test, I'm just going to say describe app. A callback, and we'll say it exists. Okay, or rather it exists. This callback, and I will say expect type of app to be a function. Okay. And there are a couple of other things that I really would like to know about app. I want it to have a class. So, but first we're going to pass this test. So the first thing we're going to do to pass this test, we have to add an index file into components. And here we have to import app from app. And I'm just going to go /app one more time. This way I don't have to create an index file inside the app folder too. And I'm going to export app. Save it. Okay, and now our tests are passing. So that's great. Next, I'm going to refactor app again. Okay, I want to make sure that app has a class name of app like it does here, because right now I could just delete this and it won't change the test. So in here, we're going to make sure we're going to say it has class name app. And I'm going to render the app. Here I'm going to say const UI equals screen get by. And here I have a problem because I don't have any way to actually get it. So I'm going to get it by test ID, which is not always a best practice, but I'm going to do it here. This is app, and then I'm going to expect UI to have class app. Okay. And unable to find an element by data test ID, which is correct. So I'm going to come over here and put it on there. So this is going to be data test ID equals app. Save it. And our tests are fine now. Okay. So with that, we are almost done with our boilerplate. However, in the public thing here, we've got a couple of pieces that we don't really need. We don't need these. I don't have a fav icon to replace these with, so I'm going to leave them there. But realistically speaking, they should be removed. What I am going to do, however, is change some of this meta stuff. So like this content here, we'll call this to do application deployed to Ocean. Well, we'll say to do application tutorial or something. And we'll find the title here, and this is going to be Fullstack to do, say something like that. Really, in a real project, you would have a better name. Okay, so we've replaced those, and the tests are still passing right now. If I wanted to test about that fav icon, then I would have to use another runner like Cypress, probably. Okay, so the final thing I would like to do here is convert this project to use Jest, or I'm sorry, Sass. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to yarn add Sass. And we'll start our tests again. And this is going to start to break now as soon as I start changing things. So this app.css is going to become app.scss. If I can find the rename button. And the import has to change. Okay. And then the same thing here, index.css. We want to rename this to index.scss and change the import here. Okay, and with that, we have now successfully removed all of the React boilerplate code, and we've got our app ready for us to begin putting in our own things.